How do you feel about waking up the dead by digging up their graves, knocking down their headstones, and relocating their remains? For some of us, this must be quite unthinkable. But for Singaporeans, this is exactly what they have to do. In fact, Singaporeans have been exhuming the dead since 1996. You might ask, why are they disturbing the dead? And how do Singaporeans feel about it? Hello, my name is Adrian, and I'm from SUTD's Urban Science Master's Program. Today, I am presenting to you my thesis on Singaporean perspectives on exhumation, the case of Singaporean Muslims. Cities across the world are getting crowded. With limited land spaces, planners need to strategize land use so that valuable urban spaces would not be wasted. One way of doing so is exhumation, which is to empty cemeteries for new urban development. Singapore is one of the many great cities across the world facing land constraint. The state mandated that every barrier can only last for 15 years. Then family members must exhume the dead. By doing so, we can see that the state intervenes in the funerary practices of the citizens, which directly affected their religious practices. Exhumation may be a concern for the Muslim community because they require burial as part of their funerary practices. However, there seems to be no public outcry against this. Does it mean that they accept exhumation? In my thesis, I conducted oral interviews and found out that Singaporean Muslims accepted exhumation. They adjusted their interpretations and religious beliefs based on the context they live in. Singaporean Muslims engage with religious authorities, look at the practices of Muslim-majority countries, as well as refer to Islamic teachings for answers on the acceptability of exhumation. And from there, they adjust their beliefs and interpretation of funerary practices to make exhumation acceptable. Although they know that exhumation is not ideal, they know that the context necessitates it. I argue that my work is important because it specifically shows how a nation's national development agenda, which is a whiff into urban planning, impacted religious beliefs of the urban inhabitants. It is seldom that we associate urban planning with religious practices because planning is often thought of as secular. However, we cannot deny the fact that many of the urban planning policies impacted the religious beliefs and practices of the people. Through an anthropological approach, we can see just how urban planning impacts people's religious beliefs. And I believe that this deserves greater attention. Well, that's all for my presentation today. Thank you for your time.